There's a lot of stuff happening out there these days, and we could talk about how Alzara Radiant Echoes has been canceled, and I'm not getting my money back, and I'm not bitter at all, and this is terrible, and everything's the worst. But today, instead, we wanted to rank some Final Fantasy games because that's what heroes do. So, Slam, how's it going, buddy?
Pretty good. And I just want to say that this is the ultimate Final Fantasy ranking because, as you can see from our tier list here, every Final Fantasy that has ever been made, period, is in this tier list. Okay? Some of them, we don't even know what they are. So we have a whole section for you for that. And if you do know what they are, sound off in the comments below and let us know how you enjoyed Final Fantasy snowboarding.
Yeah, or Chocobo Panic.
Yeah.
You know? Just
Any of
let us
those.
know.
Oh, that's my favorite one.
Yeah, A-tier games right there. So this is going to be good.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Tay, how are you doing, homie?
I'm doing excellent, man. It's another day in paradise.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right. I'm doing good over here too. I not that anybody asked, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I've been playing Bravely Default still, which has been fun, and I really want to get back to Rune Factory. Not gonna lie, I paused for Bravely Default, and I love Rune Factory. That game is just like low key, kind of one of the best games I've played this year. So, looking forward to that. But then there's Raidu coming out and everything, but. I'll tell you what, none of that has to do with Final Fantasy. And listen, for those of you watching who have seen my Final Fantasy ranking, I've gotten a lot of comments telling me about Final Fantasy X and how I was wrong about Final Fantasy X because I put it at rank 8.
You were
and
wrong.
First of all, I just want to say, when I made that list, I didn't think that hard about it. Admittedly, I just put them in the order of the games that I have gone back to the most frequently. So this is really an opportunity for you to see what's true about the Final Fantasy series, and Final Fantasy X will find its rightful place in the B tier. So, looking forward to that conversation, and it's going to be good, right? Right, Slam? Right?
No.
No. All right. This is going to be an interesting conversation then. Okay.
Oh yeah.
You guys just want to start at the top with Final Fantasy 1?
Let's get it.
All right. Final Fantasy 1. Let's see. Let's talk about some good things about this one. So we got our turn-based combat, a pretty basic class system where you choose your classes right out the gate. And then you kind of just go level up and go through the story of the crystals. I've played it recently because my daughter wanted to check it out, and it was a lot more. Like, I remember enjoying it, but it was a lot more fun and in-depth than I remember. So I do think it's actually worth checking out if anybody's interested in just like seeing classic Final Fantasy.
I think the first time I played Final Fantasy 1 was on the PSP.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I
That was
played
a
it
good
there.
version of that game.
I actually, yeah, like you said, is a little bit. I expected the most basic of basic RPGs on the planet, and there are some, little nuances to it that make it a little bit more in depth than I had anticipated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried. I think the first time I played it was the PS1 version, and then I didn't beat it till the Pixel remasters, which is by far the best way to play it right now.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure. I think we said that at the same time. So, Jinx, Slam.
We're always owing each other Cokes. We should keep track of it.
Did they like cancel each other out if I owe
Maybe,
you a Coke and then you
probably.
owe me a Coke? Okay. All right. Coke
Math
canceled then.
and stuff.
I think the first time for me for this one was actually the Game Boy Advance version. So 1 and 2 Dawn of Souls. And it added a bunch of like dungeons and stuff at the end, and I loved it. Like, I played it during an era when on the Game Boy Advance we had like all the Final Fantasy ports coming out. We had like Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories and some of those like big franchises coming to the smaller screen in some way, shape, or form. And I just got sucked into it. 1 and 2, I had a good time. So spoilers for 2, I guess, but
That you had a good
so
time.
if we were to
if we were
to put it on here,
I would probably, like, if we're comparing Final Fantasy 1 to like all the Final Fantasies on this list and like kind of seeing where it sits. I mean, it is the first Final Fantasy, so it deserves some credit for that. But in my opinion, I'm thinking B.
Ooh.
It's okay. All right, Tay.
That's generous. I do C. I just think this is going to be a recurring theme as we go through these, but the older the game is, the lower it's going to be on the tier list typically.
Yeah,
At least with
that's
the hot
interesting.
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah, like 1, 2, 3, I really don't like. So
yeah,
but they're like you said, you need to give credit for it to be the first one. I don't think it deserves D, but it's not terribly interesting. It's incredibly basic, but there's nothing like broken about it. But I would say my vote's C.
What are you thinking, Brandon? Where are you sitting on it?
I think so. Since we only go down to D, I think D to me is like utter trash. And frankly, just spoilers, I don't really think any of these games are utter trash. So I would be hesitant to put anything in D. But
There's going to be some Ds. But
well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm me personally, Hero, right? You guys can talk me down. I tend to be more optimistic anyway,
always.
generally. I probably agree with Taylor on this one.
Okay.
I think it's still worth checking out. But if we're doing comparisons here, I think C is a fair.
I gave it
spot
a
for Final Fantasy
nod
1.
for starting, Final Fantasy. But
Yeah.
I'm with you. If we're not giving it that big of a nod for that, and just looking at it at what it is, I'm okay with a C.
Yeah, I'm thinking of C as like if I knew you and you've played a bunch of Final Fantasy games and you never played one, then it's like, yeah, now that you've played some of these other classics, like, sure, go check it out. I'd recommend it. It's fun, right? Yeah, it might be an interesting like take on the series for you since you've played some of these others, but I would never like recommend it up front compared to some of these other ones. So I think C is a good spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
C it is.
All right. C it is. All right, Final Fantasy 2. What you got?
Ooh.
We'll start with
I think
Tay.
this is D.
Yeah, this is my
hate-
least
this is
favorite
my-
one.
this is
I
my-
hate it.
Yeah, me
I
too.
don't like it either. I'm with you. That's why I was sitting there and Brandon was like, "There's not going to be any D's," and I was just like, "Wait until we get Final Fantasy 2."
Man.
Final Fantasy 2 is a D.
I'm gonna fight you guys for that one. I actually think 2 sits at a C as well. I personally,
Because you like breaking games, but
I know
you can break this
I know,
game
but
in
it
the
was
most
fun.
stupid
And
way
isn't-
possible.
Isn't that what games
No,
are about?
this
Slam
is
having
not-
fun.
I'm pretty.
And
I'm
you
standing.
can have fun.
I'm
Now
staying
let's
pretty
not
firm
talk
on the
about
D.
the dungeons.
Me
and
too.
The bad
Me
dungeon
too.
designs and the ridiculous amount of encounter rates that were there. You could just destroy this game. And we got Firion and we got a bunch of other named characters.
Okay.
It was like more interesting story-wise. You had
Check
like
this
the
out.
Rebellion up front.
You made the
Same.
point just a second ago with Final Fantasy 1 that if you were like talking to somebody who's played a bunch of Final Fantasies and you were like, "Oh, sure, go back and play Final Fantasy 1 just to see where it all started." 2 doesn't have that benefit, and I would never recommend anyone go back and play 2. One,
Yeah,
the
me
story is
neither.
not very good. The mechanics are intentionally overly complicated, and you can break the game in the dumbest way possible. The dungeon design is not very good. This is by far and away
Just because
my least favorite Final Fantasy, and when I did my ranking, I had no issue putting it last on the list. So
Yeah,
Oh
same.
man, it's not. I mean, look, listen. Let me make my case here for a second. Skyrim, you can walk up to a troll with 2 shields and you can level up. Final Fantasy 2, you can equip 2 shields and get hit a lot and get stat boosts. I'm just saying, like, is it as bad as you think?
are we ranking
Yes.
Skyrim today? No.
Yeah.
D.
It reminds me, you know what? You saying that reminds me of Saga, and I hate Saga. So you're actually not helping
Final
your
Fantasy,
case.
Final Fantasy 2 is absolutely like the saga of the main series. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I think they had either like someone from the Saga games working on this one, or there was some crossover. So
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah, all right.
So we have a D
Since
tier.
it's-
It exists for a reason, and that reason is for Final Fantasy 2. So
Okay, well, I just want everybody here to
Yes.
know that is watching that likes Final Fantasy that they're wrong, and I stand firm with you. All right, Final Fantasy 3.
I like this one. but it's been a
You
long.
do?
It's been a long time since I played it. A very
You don't
long
like
time.
2, but you like 3?
I like it better than.
Bro.
I like it better than 2.
I mean, that's fair.
I'm not.
I like it. Well, I actually ranked it lower than 2 on my list.
I think I had.
But here's
I can't even remember, but I'm pretty sure I had 2, 1, 3, like that.
I had 1, 3, 2. And so for me, the reason 3 I don't like it as much is because it is like it gave us the job system, so I'll give it that, right? Like that was kind of the first crack for the series doing the job system, and that's cool. But the implementation of the job system is so freaking hard to figure out. Like there's so many parts of the game where you are absolutely blocked if you don't have a very specific set of jobs going into
Yeah.
it. And so like 3 is one of the first games that I've had to come back to like 3 or 4 times to actually get through because I just kept getting stalled. I kept hitting a wall and I was just like, I don't understand this game. And to be fair, part of that is because when I played some of these older games, I kind of expect like if you're willing to put in the time to grind, you're going to be able to overcome some of these obstacles. And in 3, that's just not the case, but like
Yeah.
not in a good way. It's not like, hey, grinding doesn't matter because you need to know strategy in a good way. It's like, oh, you're fighting a boss and you're not all a bunch of dragoons, and that's the only thing that hits this boss, and there's no indication that would give you information about that. So you're just going to die over and over again. And unless you just know or you have a guide that's like, yeah, use these specific classes, you're just going to get your butt kicked over and over and over again. And it's like, for me, it just wasn't fun at that point. Like, I didn't enjoy it until I finally figured some of that stuff out. And then it was like, okay, that was fine. But that made me really irritated.
You've convinced me quite a bit. But let me ask you guys, because it's been a long time since I played, and I have not played this one on the Pixel remasters yet. I actually haven't played 1, 2, or 3 on the Pixel remasters. But I remember there being a little bit like of a nice jump in presentation from 2 to 3. Is that true?
Well, we only got 3 on the DS in the States.
But I meant like, it just seemed like, you know, a more new, modern kind of aesthetic to it, but it's hard for me to remember.
I don't remember. And to be honest, I'm pretty indifferent. If you guys want to put it C or D, I don't really care. My vote would be C. I don't think it's as bad as 2.
No, it's not.
But I do remember what Brandon was saying, that like,
yeah,
if you don't have specific job classes, like no amount of grinding is going to help you, even though you could grind really easy in the Pixel remasters. But
yeah,
I'm either way on it.
C behind 1 is where I'm at.
Yeah,
okay. We need like a C minus. I mean, I think that's fair. I think objectively it's a better game than 2. I just personally had less fun because 2 I could figure out. Like, say what you will about all the bad things about 2. Like, once you figure out how you can break the game and you can grind effectively, like you can go crazy in that game. In 3, it was just a slog getting through 3 for me. All right. Let's get to the good stuff. Final
Good
Fantasy
stuff.
IV.
Yep. It's a good one. Love 4.
This is my favorite Pixel era Final Fantasy.
Oh, interesting.
Which is
Really?
probably
Okay.
a controversial take. I am not the biggest fan of 6, which you guys will probably fight me on. I don't think
Interesting.
I don't think it's an S tier. I think it's like as high an A as it can get. But that's my take. I don't know what it is. Like, for when I compare that to like Rebirth or Final Fantasy Tactics, I'm like, it just doesn't quite get there for me. But like, the characters are like incredible. I love Rydia. I like her whole arc. She's like one of my favorite characters in that game. The beginning of the game is wild. Like, when you have to, like it got me emotional just like watching these pixel characters. You're like going to this village and like killing all these black mages. I was like, whoa, like, this is kind of crazy for like a pixel era game. But yeah, this is I like 4 a lot. So
yeah, I would tend to agree. I think I'd probably put it in A as well. 4 for me had, while it's not my favorite of the Pixel era, Well, I don't know. Maybe
That's 6 for me, man. But we'll get to
yeah,
6.
it's close.
But
Yeah, it's close. Like
4
I mean,
is
4, 5,
second.
and 6. Honestly, I loved, but like 4, the story had such an impact on me because of the whole like you're actually kind of the bad guy and don't realize it, and you have to kind of like face yourself. And I remember I had this
Mm-hmm.
hilarious story. My buddy got me into the Final Fantasy series, and I played 4. It was the Game Boy Advance one again. I didn't have a PlayStation 1. I got a PS2 later, and then sort of binged the Final Fantasy series. So when they came out with the Game Boy Advance versions, I just like ate them up. They're actually sitting up there. Um, and 4, when you get to the scene where Cecil is fighting himself, basically like the paladin scene, I didn't know that you were supposed to take the hits and end the battle that way. So I cranked through, because I grind in these games. I got a high enough level and I cranked through it and just used a bunch of potions, and I like beat it. Um, but it took me like an hour and a half. And my friend was like, "You did what?"
So what happens if you
So
beat it?
it's same thing, right? Like the battle just
Okay.
ends and then it continues on. But yeah, I was like, why? Like, this is the hardest battle ever. Why is this taking me so long? I remember like sitting on my bunk bed being like, oh, just die already. Um, but yeah, the story wise, it
There's
was
the
like really
story
impactful for
for
me, and I
me
love the characters as well.
really sticks with you.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm good with A. That's where I'm
Okay.
at.
Are we all good with A? We all in agreement?
Yeah.
All right, that's a good
I'm
one.
good with A.
I would even put it in as potentially, but
Would you now?
I mean, I
S?
think it's really close to 6, and 6 is one of the best JRPGs ever made.
Spoiler slam.
But like, are we against putting 4 in S tier, or should we keep it in A?
I think
mean, I won't
let's stick with A for now and see. We can circle back to some of this stuff if we feel bad about it.
Okay.
Yeah, we can give one last look and jostle some stuff.
Yeah.
It
All right.
is.
Final Fantasy V, the true introduction of the job system,
Job
in my
system.
opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And job systems in RPGs are like my thing. I love
Yeah.
them. They're what makes a JRPG super addictive for me. Like, for example, Bravely Default, me and Brandon were just talking about it before the show. And it's like all of the things around Bravely Default are great, but the thing that keeps me going, like when I start playing and I can't put it down, it's the job system. It's, you know, unlocking a new job, tinkering with different job combinations and doing all that stuff. That's what keeps me going. And
Yeah.
5 was incredible in that regard.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know 5 doesn't get a lot of credit for its story. And I do think its story was less impactful to me than say 4 or 6, but I really enjoyed it, and I thought like the characters could be really like goofy and zany, and Gilgamesh, man, like for me, Gilgamesh is one of the best villains in any Final Fantasy game, and the fact that they kept bringing him back in the other games and they like made it a canonical thing, like Gilgamesh going into the void and then just showing up in like Final Fantasy 12, Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 8, like he just shows up everywhere. I Something about that, just like 5 has this very special place in my heart. Like I absolutely love that game. And yeah, the job system was fantastic. I went crazy. I remember going to that, what was that?
That
Like
one
that
still holds
tower
up
with those
today.
like statue characters that you can grind on that give you the highest amount of job points. And I spent hours grinding and maxing out all of those jobs.
Yeah.
So I personally, I'd put 5 in. I don't know. Someone talk me down. I'm going to be way too optimistic about this series. I'd put 5 in A tier. I love 5. I think it's great.
Oh, I'd definitely put it in A tier.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay
I
with
would,
that.
I would put it in A tier.
Yeah.
Behind
have a
or in
lot to-
front of 4?
Oh, behind 4. Behind
cool.
4 for sure. I think 4 is better.
Yeah, I do too.
I think, the
Okay.
gameplay is probably better in 5 because, like you said, the job system. But yeah, I didn't really care much for most of the story and characters outside of Gilgamesh. That he's cool.
Yeah. Gilgamesh
Battle on the
was
Big
like
Bridge,
one of the
baby.
best parts. That's right. The music, oh man, yeah, and the music in all of these games. We haven't even touched on the music, but so good. Okay, especially in 4 and 5. Final Fantasy 6 D tier. Just kidding.
That's right.
What do you guys think?
I don't think you can
I'm
host
not
this
gonna fight you
podcast anymore.
guys. I'm not gonna fight you guys on S. Like I think we can
It's
just
S
throw it
tier.
there. Yeah,
No,
I mean,
no. Wait.
but
This ranking is for all of us to decide. Slam. So Taylor, let's give your case, brother. I wanna hear it.
I guess I've just never played this game at the right time. I've tried playing this game probably 4 or 5 times, and I always stop at the same time. And it's probably right before it gets like really good. But there's a part early in the game when you like have all the party members, but then they split up and you play their different scenarios like however you want. And for whatever reason, I just never really got past that part. And I was thinking the Pixel remaster would be like the perfect time. Like, okay, I can just grind through this, like fast forward, it'll be great. But what I did is I played all the Final Fantasies back to back, starting from 1. And by the time I got to 6, I was just so burnt out. I'm like, oh my God, I can't play another one of these. So
Man.
it's just never been the right time for 6. I think if I like gave it the right chance, I probably would dig it. But I've just never finished it, and it's never really like that opening is like unbelievable, like that music and walking through the snow and
music,
stuff
the
like.
story is so
Yeah.
good. It has one of the best villains in
Slam.
Yeah.
Slam.
history.
Give him his space. Give him his space, buddy.
No, I mean that's really all I have to say. I want to beat this at some point because I feel like I'm missing out on something. Like I played Chrono Trigger like way after the fact and fell in love with it and understood it. But with 6, I'm just like I'm missing something, and I want to beat it. I just have not beat it. So someday, but
It is
I
one of
know it's
those
S
things.
tier.
You know, it has to. You know, for any game, it has to be the right time, right? If you're, I'd be burnt out playing 5 Final Fantasy games back to back. You know what I mean? I would not be
Yeah.
ready to. I love 6, and I would not be ready to dive back into 6 if I did that.
Need like a palate cleanser in there
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Where are you at on it, Brandon? I mean, everybody knows what I think about it.
I mean, for me, I think 6 is an easy S tier. I think of the Pixel era, for me by far, it's the best. Even though I really love 4 and 5, and for me, it's like it's the combination of the characters each having their own sort of defined story, maybe outside of like the extra characters like Umaru and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the defined character arcs, the music, the way in the battle system they integrated the espers and the espers impacting stats, and like how you use them later on can impact how you do certain builds for the characters. The equipment findability, I don't know if that's a word, but like getting the Ultima weapon, you can get that pretty early on. You could like build Terra to be this absolute monster. She could be like dual wielding Ultima weapons. All of the characters having their unique classes. The music for 6
Yeah,
is still like
one of the
so freaking good. Yeah. And then Kefka is just
Yeah.
like everybody talks about Sephiroth, and for good reason. We'll get to 7 here in a second, but like Kefka is a wild villain that like actually kind of succeeds. And it's like they were like, let's just make an absolutely unhinged, crazy villain in Kefka. And then you have that with like the Dancing Mad theme for that. You have the opera scene. Like there's just, I feel like 6 is just littered with these iconic scenes,
Legendary,
and elements
yeah.
to it. Yeah, it's hard. It'd be hard for me not to put it in S tier. 6 is so good.
So let's put it
So-
in S tier. Let's do it.
All right.
No
Tay,
arguments.
I would say, yeah, definitely like, I don't know, get an RPG palette cleanser, like go, I don't know, hang out with your girlfriend or something and chill for a bit, get away from games for a minute, and then just like give 6 the space to breathe, and I feel like you'll get there.
Oh,
It's
I'm sure.
one
Yeah,
day.
I got to play like a Resident Evil game or something.
Yeah.
And play
Yeah.
that.
In my mind, 6 is as close to perfect as a classic JRPG can get. That's how
It
I
is
feel.
like
High
the
praise.
pinnacle. it's like the pinnacle of the series for its time. I like to think about the series in terms of like the pixel era, the like 3D era that's like 7 to you could say
9,
10, you could argue 10. Yeah, really 9, but like you could fit 10 in there. And then there's like the
10 and
modern era,
12,
which
and then
is
it gets into the
yeah,
modern
yeah,
era. Yeah. I
yeah.
feel like 10 and 12 are kind of their own thing. And we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. All right.
So this one's a fun one. 7. There's a lot of people on all kinds of different sides on this one. I'll be interested to see where you guys sit on it. Me personally, I love 7. This was one of one of my first JRPGs that I ever completed. This and Legend of Dragoon were like probably the groundwork for my love for the genre. And yeah, so 7 to me is like minimum A tier. I love 7. I love the characters in 7. I love the story. And even going back to the classic 7, I really actually like how it looks. Most PS1 games don't hold up all that well. But I think 7 still holds up pretty nicely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I say it's S. To me, it's my favorite Final Fantasy game. It's probably a huge mix of nostalgia. It was the first RPG I ever played, first Final Fantasy, first game really with any kind of story, like meaningful story. I played some like point and click adventures before that, but like never really played a game like that before. But the story, the music,
Let's go. I knew he was about to
mu-
say it.
the music is like one of the
so
best ever.
good.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
It's so good.
When you hear that, even like on Remake, when that starts playing on like your
Oh,
PlayStation, home screen or whatever, I could just leave that on all day.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, it's incredible.
When Rebirth came out, and they had, so I don't know if you guys have Apple, if you use Apple or Spotify or whatever, but on Apple, I have Apple Music. They dropped this like short EP for Rebirth, and it was the first time I had heard them taking like the Final Fantasy VII theme and turning it into like battle music, and I was just like what they did in Rebirth with the original score and remixing it and the way they integrated it was just like the best thing you could have possibly done musically to just like nail the nostalgia factor. Oh, it was unbelievable. Yeah,
I'm cool with S tier for sure.
I'm gonna struggle with the next several, to be just completely upfront with you guys, because like 7, it wasn't my first Final Fantasy. It was my second though, and the story, the characters, like I became obsessed. And I guess spoilers for other games, like the entire 7 compilation. Like once I got into 7, I was like locked in, and anything lore wise that came out from 7, I was all in. Crisis Core, Advent Children,
Yep, same.
like Dirge of Cerberus, like all of those things, I just ate it up. So yeah, 7 is definitely up there for me.
Now,
I'd
question
probably
is,
say yes.
do we put it in front or behind of 6?
Well, this has universal. I mean, because I was with the Washi on 6,
And we're all on board with 7. Let's put 7 in front of 6. I'm with you on that, Tay.
Okay.
I think you've all made a huge mistake. No, I'm just
Tay is right.
someone in the comments.
This is
say that.
the Level Up Legacy Ultimate Final Fantasy tier list, right?
That's right.
Yep.
Let's get it right. Okay.
All right, Final Fantasy VIII S tier. Okay, real talk though. I'm gonna struggle with this one. So,
I know you.
Final
like
Fantasy VIII was the first Final
know you
Fantasy
like
game I
it.
ever played,
Okay.
and it was not only the first Final Fantasy game I played, but it was like the first meaningful JRPG I had ever played, and just completely blew open the doors of my new gaming preference with JRPGs. I had actually Elora, who's been on this podcast. When we were kids, she had some of these games, and I used to make fun of her. I was like, "Oh, Final Fantasy, like you just like fantasy," and she was basically like, "Shut up, sit down, and play this game." And I did, and I was like immediately addicted. Like just being able to draw things, being able to like get into these battles, grind, find these crazy creatures, the overworld, like the story setup for 8. starting off by going in that cave and getting Ifrit, so you're introduced to the summons and even the junctioning system. I was just like, this is awesome. Like if I draw more from these guys, I can do these to these stats, and
Yeah.
I just got so into it, and I loved it, and I loved the story. Now, to be fair, I played it again for the fourth time. Was it like 3 years ago or so? And I used all of the features in the remaster where you can like speed it up and increase experience and all these kinds of things to make it easier. And so I got through the game way faster. And I don't know if it's just because that's not how games are meant to be played, or if it's just the fact that I was hitting this for the fourth time and I was trying to take my nostalgia glasses off. But I did kind of feel like I remembered this game being a lot better than it is. But I still really love 8. So
I love 8.
I'd say
It
it's
is
probably objectively a B, but I would put it higher personally.
it's my least favorite of the PS1 Final Fantasies. I love 7 and 9 so much more. I think they're on a whole nother level by like a lot better. I like 8. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great game. It's a fun JRPG. It's got a very unique story and setting to it that kind of sets itself apart from a lot of the other games in the series. But it just did not stick with me in the same way as...
Oh, and the gunblade is so cool. That's one of the coolest weapons in any Final Fantasy, I'm just saying.
I would put it... I mean, I'd be okay with putting it at a B. But I wouldn't put it any higher than that.
Yeah. The thing about 8, it's like fun to experience, but not fun to play for me. Like I know one thing I'm learning is Brandon likes the games that you can bust open.
Yeah.
and
I already
8
knew
is
that
a
about
game
him.
that you can like bust open like few others. So I get his love for it. I think it has the best soundtrack in the series. I know that maybe that's
It's
a hot
an
take, but
amazing soundtrack.
I
Okay.
love the
It is an
soundtrack of that
amazing
game.
soundtrack. Yeah.
That is. It is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't...
One
Maybe
of
I
the
need to
battle
go back
systems.
to it. It's been a while.
Not to be like super music nerdy here. I did some music back in the day, and one of the battle musics is in like 5/4, so it's like got a really interesting time signature, which is different from a lot of the other games, and it's just so, yeah, that soundtrack is unbelievable. So listen, we can put it in B, but I just want you all to know that Ben Starr agrees with me. All right, let's go with B and move on.
Are we with B?
Yeah, B. Yeah, B works for me.
Our first
All right.
B tier.
Oh, I love you, Final Fantasy VIII. Okay, but then Final Fantasy IX. I'm gonna make myself feel better.
This one's
S tier, hands
amazing.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love this game so much. This is like, whew. Yeah, I don't even know where to start. Everything about it is so good. And when you take the name and you see it on a box and you see Final Fantasy, like you picture a setting and an aesthetic and a story like this one. This is fantasy Final Fantasy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so well executed. The music, the oh my God, the graphical presentation, the story, just the combat system, everything is so good in 9. I like literally have nothing bad to say about 9. So yeah, I'm with you. S tier all the way for me for 9. But
Yeah.
I'm torn on where at in S tier we put it.
For me, it's at the top. I mean, yeah. If you've seen my ranked Final Fantasy video, it is my number 1. So go check out that video. Yeah, this one is like. So when I first played this is when I don't know if I've told this story before, but like I had a buddy in high school who, when he found out I was interested in Final Fantasy, gave me a CD case full of every single Final Fantasy game on the PS1 and was just like, go forth. And I binged played these games. And 9 was so interesting because I beat, which one did I beat? I either beat 8 or 7, and then I jumped to 9, and it was like on this really strange day where there was this massive storm. Now, I grew up in Southern California. Storms didn't happen. I was in the desert. Like, we'd get some storms, but not really. But this had like lightning struck a transformer that blew up at our school, and the school was flooding, and they were like trying to like get buses to like ship people out to like other schools so they can still get that state money. You know, got to get that state money. And my sister and I just like drove home, and you know, it was just pouring outside. And so I like went upstairs. We had this upstairs area that was kind of like a basement if you're in the Midwest, but it was upstairs because California is California. And I popped in this game, and like while it was raining outside, I was not at school. I didn't have to worry about any homework or anything because basically everything just got canceled. I just locked into this game, and I think I played it straight for like 5 hours. And I was just obsessed with the characters, the setup, like the whole intro with Vivi, and then you have them, you know, getting Garnet and, you know, going on the ship and then crashing into the forest, and just everything about it was just like this feels so exciting and beautiful, and the music was so good, and the combat system with the grinding, because y'all know now, at least if you didn't already, that I love breaking these games. You know, if you did enough grinding, you can learn these skills really quickly. And it just got better and better and better and better and better. And the game kind of just never let up. And it was like I love this game. And then I went and played it later after playing the other Final Fantasies. And it's just so obviously this like culmination of the first part of the series. Like they took everything they learned from the entire series, and they like plugged in all of these like not cameos, but like these Easter eggs, and there's so many elements that reference the older games, and it's just perfect. It's like quintessential Final Fantasy. So if anybody talks to me personally about I've never played Final Fantasy, where should I start? I almost always say Final Fantasy 9. Like, I might recommend 7 because 7's got like more of a general consensus that people like it, but I'm like, if you want Final Fantasy at its most Final Fantasy-ist, it's Final Fantasy 9. So for me, it's like top of the top S tier.
What do you think, Tay?
Yeah, I think it's S tier. I wouldn't put it above 7. That's just my personal take, but I agree with you. Like, when I think Final Fantasy, like, nothing is more Final Fantasy than Final Fantasy 9. It's got you know, the Black Mage design. I think Vivi's one of the best characters like in the whole series. I love how like it's serious sometimes, but then it's also a little goofy sometimes. It's got I believe it's Tetramaster in this game, or maybe it's Triple Triad. I forget which one is which.
Triple Triad's 8.
Okay. Yeah, so Tetramaster, I love that card game. And yeah, I like the world, I like the music. It's easy S tier, I think.
Yeah, I think 7 and 9 are pretty interchangeable for me. I'm cool with putting it behind 7.
I think that's blasphemous, but I can leave it there if y'all agree.
I know I'm not going to get my way with my favorite Final Fantasy game, which is next.
Ooh.
D tier. All right, let's leave 9 here for now because you're all mistaken, but I can accept that. Final Fantasy 10.
The best. Need I say more? No, it is. It's my favorite. Oh my god, the graphical leap, the presentation, like this huge thing. Like, when I got Final Fantasy X for the PS2, it was jaw-dropping in every conceivable way. The sphere grid, blitzball, the characters, the bright and colorful, you know, world, and it just felt so larger than life. You know what I mean? And it is a little bit of nostalgia, but I went back and played it on the PS Vita. I even played it again on the Switch, and I'll probably even play it again soon. It still holds up. It's still one of my favorite games ever. Like, it still plays and feels to me just as good as it always did. Brandon, you mentioned you went back and played 8, and you were like, oh, I played it with all these, you know, fast forward features and stuff. It just didn't hit the same. I have replayed 10 so many times and never once thought this game doesn't hit the same. Ever. It's so incredibly good. And there's not a bad thing I could say about it. And if it was me and it was my personal ranking, it would be S tier above 7, and nothing would top it. It's just my personal. But I know not everyone feels that way. I could tell from the comments section of my ranking video. But hey, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I like 10 a lot. I think it has arguably the best turn-based combat system in the entire series because everybody's
agree
got a
with that.
job. You can swap characters out on the fly, and I don't think you lose a turn when you do that. So I like 10 a lot. I never really got Blitzball. I think I've played that game twice, never scored a goal once. I cannot figure Blitzball out. I
It's
don't know what that
crazy.
game, I don't know how it works.
I had my uncle teach me how to do it when I was a kid, and I
Okay.
ended up getting pretty good at Blitzball by playing too much of it.
Got it.
But yeah, it's complicated. The rules don't make any sense.
No. But yeah, and story is interesting, very heartbreaking. It's funny. People always give crap to 13 for being linear, but this one is really where it started. This one's like mega linear, which I don't know why it doesn't get flack for it. It for some reason, it just doesn't get the hate that 13 does, but it's the same thing. And I like my towns. I like my world maps. So it kind of gets held back a little bit because of that. But, maybe Brandon can be the tiebreaker here. But to me, I'd be happy putting it either in S or A. To me, it would be the back of the line in S, but I could really go either way with it.
Where are you sitting, Brandon? I don't even know what your opinion is on 10, other than the fact that you put it at like a terrible spot on your list. This is your chance. This is your chance. Fix it.
In my list,
Fix your mistake.
In my list, full confession, I put it at rank 8.
Wow.
And I don't think I think it deserves to be much higher.
Thank you.
I will fully confess that because I put 16 above it. I know. I can already hear people groaning in the comments. I put 16 above it, and I do think that was a little bit of recency bias because I was high on 16. Like I loved 16, and I still loved 16, but that was definitely part of that as I made that video. 8. So here are my issues with 8. Or 8. Sorry, 10. Here's my issues with 10. The linearity wasn't a big issue for me, but coming off of 9, like it felt a little bit different.
He can't break
Blitzball,
it. That's really what it is.
What did he say?
I mean, you kind of can break 10. I'll get there.
Okay, because you can't break it.
Blitzball, I didn't really understand. Some of the bosses, like Seymour and Unalesca in particular could just be a nightmare. But even Seymour could be kind of a pain in the butt, which, hard bosses, like I've learned to overcome that. Yeah, so some of those things were some of the issues, but like if I'm thinking about it as objectively as I can, the turn-based combat system with the turn order in particular was not only the best in the series, but I'm pretty sure that kind of moved the entire genre forward for a lot of games that would come after it. The environments and the music were so amazing, and the music was so impactful. Like, I loved all the soundtracks, and each of them have their strengths. I love 7, I love 8, I love 9. 10, though, like Xanarkand, that was like in the era that I played 10, that was like if you were someone who was learning how to play piano, if you could pull off Xanarkand, you were like the coolest person there because that was such a beautiful, haunting melody. And I loved that. So yeah, I do think it should be a lot higher. I am kind of with Taylor though. I'm not sure. I'd probably put it in S tier. I might even put it higher than 6. Yeah. But I need to replay this one. I feel like
we'll do a podcast on it and we'll both replay it.
Yeah, we should do that.
I'll put it. I'm okay with putting it. Oh man, putting it. Are we good with can I put it behind 9 and ahead of 6?
Yeah, sure. I'm okay with that. I like 10 more than 9, so that's fine by me.
Oh, you like 10 more than 9, so let's move it ahead of 9.
Oh no, sorry.
I
like 10 more than 6. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thank you, Taylor.
I misspoke.
But yes, at the end of the day, I made a huge mistake. So
Thank you.
full confession. Yeah. You're welcome, Slam. I hope that makes you feel a lot better.
It does.
All right, Final Fantasy 11. Did anybody play 11?
I did
Nope,
not.
I haven't.
Did you?
Okay.
So this will be our
I have
first
not.
haven't played. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay,
and
easy.
I this is one. So I've gotten so many comments from people that loved this game, and I have such a high respect for it. And in theory, I would really love to play this game because they have, like 14, they've actually built in a bunch of mechanics that can make it so that you can do like a single player run.
You can still play this game. It's still live, which is
I
insane.
know.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's one of those like this is a super time consuming MMO, and I don't know. I almost wish that they delivered the story in a different format. I've talked about this with 14 too, which we can get to later if we want to, but the idea of like, hey Square, like if you're doing remasters, why don't you take like the first expansion for 11 and release it as like a standalone game, and then you could even do the other ones, or maybe lump some expansions together, but like give us some sort of single player offering that strips back some of the MMO mechanics. I'd buy that and play that in a heartbeat.
They
And
did
I'm
that with
still
Dragon
tempted.
Quest 10, right? Dragon Quest 10
exactly.
offline. So
Exactly.
they've done it.
Exactly. Yeah, and I did bring that up in my video too. So maybe one day. I am familiar with some of the characters because some of the other like mobile games and things like that. But yeah, this one haven't played it yet. So, but
All right.
respect for those out there who love 11 because I know about it and I know some really great things about it. So
All right. So next up is 12.
12.
12. Okay. So
This
I
is
have
a
strong
hard one
opinions
to
on 12.
place for me. This is a hard one to place.
yeah. Yeah. So, and for me, if we're doing OG 12 versus Zodiac Age, I think the original PS2 version is significantly worse than Zodiac Age. Because
I
feel
agree.
exactly
Age.
the opposite. I feel exactly the opposite.
Because well, here's why. I think
Zodiac Age fixes
you
everything.
can turn the speed up. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can turn the speed up, and then it opens the job board up a little bit more. So if we're talking Zodiac Age, this is like a A tier for me. I liked 12 a lot. There's something about that world. Because like I know people complain about Vaughn and Pinello and they're so annoying.
Yeah,
but after a
they are.
certain point in the story, they kind of just like fade into the background and it becomes more about Balthier and Ash and Bosch. Those characters really disappear. So I get that complaint, but like if you actually finish the game, they become more insignificant as the story goes on. But that OG system is just so slow and you're like not doing anything. You're just like moving the character and it attacks for you. But when you can speed it up, it's a little bit more satisfying. And
I still don't like it all that much. I like 12, but I'm not a huge fan of that combat system personally.
If I were to rank it, I'd put it A, maybe like at the back of the line of A, but that would be my vote. So I'll be curious what you guys say.
If we're doing Zodiac Age, I could put it at A. If we're not doing, let's just say we're doing Zodiac Age because we're not doing Zodiac Age. This is a B or a C for me.
Yeah.
But Zodiac Age fixes a lot of my issues with the game, and it was significantly more fun to play because of that. But Brandon, what are you mad? Because you couldn't break it as easy?
Yes, it's exactly okay. So the original 12. Okay, first of all, guys, the Zodiac Age class system is not as open as the original because the original you had the entire grid. It's not the sphere grid, the license system. You had the entire thing, so you could build the characters into anything you wanted, which was amazing. Number one. Number two, once you played the game like a normal human being, you could go back in the original and then go run all the way through to get to that.
Who wanted to
shoot, I
do
forgot what
that?
it's called the Necro Hall of.
I know what you're
Nabudis,
talking about,
and you
and
could
get that
the Zodiac
sword
spear,
or
and
spear.
you could give it to Bosch, and you could wreck the entire game. It was unbelievable. I loved that game.
Okay, so check this
and-
out, Brandon. This isn't
Wait,
a tier
I'm not
list of Final Fantasies that you can break the easiest. Because
It
if
was
it was,
so much fun. Slam. Okay. Okay. But 12 is one of my 12. Oh, and not to mention, I would also like go and grind on those werewolves and get the quickenings and the Kotatsu weapon for Vaughn, which made him a
Sure.
beast in the beginning. Anyway, 12 is one of my one of my personal top Final Fantasies. Like, I don't know what it is, but every time I've gone back and played 12, I'm just like, I
But
love this game.
look
Zodiac Age is great.
look
I
at the
love
board.
Zodiac Age.
Look at the board. Is it better
Yeah.
than 5, 4, 6, 10,
To
9,
me,
7? No,
to
it's
me,
not.
it's better than. To me, it would be top of the A tier. I would say at minimum.
It's better than
I would
4.
put it. I would put it at the back of the S tier for me.
It's
Yeah,
not better than 4.
Ooh.
it is.
For me,
I mean,
I
okay,
would
to
put
be
it-
fair,
I was gonna say I'd put it between 4 and 5. That's
I'm okay
my-
with putting it between 4 and 5. And we're not gonna argue about Zodiac Age versus the original because I don't think we have both of them here. But me and
No, I don't think
Tay
so.
can talk about it as if it's Zodiac Age, and then you can pretend like it's not. How about that?
yeah,
Does that make you feel better?
Wrong. You're wrong, but it makes me feel better. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is fine. I know for some reason
13's
a
gonna
lot of
be
people
fun.
weren't into 12. But I love 12. I absolutely love 12. I've gone back and played it like 3 or 4
I need to
times.
go back and play it. I have not. I haven't played it since Zodiac Age came out on the Switch. So it's been a long time.
When I played Zodiac Age, I still had a great time. Don't get me wrong.
It's amazing. It's so
But
fun.
I did the thing about Zodiac Age that I didn't like as much was I did feel hampered by the way they did the job system, which is funny because for a lot of people, like that was one of the biggest improvements. But I'm like, I really enjoyed having the entire license board and being able to basically do whatever I want. And so having to like choose what specific classes you had to have, like, you know, your main and your subclass or whatever, just made it slightly less interesting, but not enough that I would say don't play Zodiac Age. I just personally enjoyed the way the system worked in the original. So
Yeah.
all right.
13.
13. This is going to be a really fun
13.
one because I think I'm the only one who likes it. Is that true?
Oh, I hate it.
I
yeah.
like everything here. I don't
Okay.
hate any of these games.
But you're
you like it
lower
more
on it
than I
than
do.
most. I love 13. I just love the story. I love how like cinematic it is. It felt like a movie to me. A really, really long movie. I really connected with the characters. Yeah, it was a little linear, but I still think the turn-based combat system was really fun. And what do they call the system? Paradigm shift or
Yeah, the paradigm shift.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like, and I liked the aesthetic and the menus, and I really liked the kind of futuristic kind of setting that it was in. I really wish they would remaster these, you know, because there's definitely some
too.
quality of life features that could be applied to these games and make them vastly way better. That would fix a lot of the like minor issues that a lot of people complain about with 13. Now, I agree, it's definitely not on the level of like S tier or A tier, probably. I like it better than 8, personally. So I'd put it ahead of 8 on the B tier, personally. But
I can accept that. I can accept that.
I'd like to see where you guys stand on it. I know Tay
I
said he hated
personally
it.
I personally like 8 more. Yeah, I'm gonna save Tay for the end so he can shatter all of our hopes. I personally liked 8 more because of the fact that it was my entry point into the series, but I do think that 13 is. Oh, do I want to say that? I think mechanically 13 is a better game. The things about 13 like I know if you talk to like hardcore 13 fans, maybe that's you, Slam.
So
They will often push back strongly on the criticism that the story didn't make sense. But the story is
how many Final
very
Fantasy stories
convoluted.
truly make sense, dude?
Okay,
You're
but
just
like
praising.
there's a difference between a story being so convoluted that you don't really know what happened and a story having things that you have to suspend belief for. And I feel like 13 is one of those where when you're in it, maybe it makes sense when you're in it. Like if they remastered the trilogy and you went through it, I might feel a little bit better about this. But like as soon as I put the controller down for 13, I was like, wait, what the heck is Alicia again? Like, what happened? It was just they tried cramming a lot of concepts in there without giving you a lot of time to, I don't know, make sense of a lot of it. So I think it was fine, and I do think it's fair to be like, yeah, if you play the game, like you can kind of figure it out. Um, but it's a little bit harder to get into from the story side. The characters were fine. I liked most of the characters. Some of them were kind of annoying. Like Hope was kind of annoying in 13, and Vanille kind of drove me nuts. But there's characters that drive me nuts in every RPG. That can just be a thing in general. Um, the paradigm system and the battle system I did really enjoy. So I think probably it gets more flack than it deserves. But when I got finished playing 13, I remember distinctly I have this memory of talking to a friend and saying that was a really great JRPG, but it didn't feel like a Final Fantasy. And that was the first time in my experience playing a Final Fantasy game when I felt like the franchise was like really moving in a different direction. So that's
I
probably
disagree.
why it's a little bit lower for me as well.
I think it's the last time Final Fantasy felt like Final Fantasy personally, but Tay, what's up?
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the big complaints that everyone likes to beat into the ground is it being linear. And for me, exploration is a huge part of RPGs, especially in Final Fantasy. I love exploring in RPGs, and there is like virtually none. And I know people talk about like, oh, you can Grand Pulse, but it's like, it's really just an open field. There's not really much to explore there. And so to me, that excuse doesn't really hold much water. I really didn't like any of the characters. Like, yeah, Hope's annoying. Lightning's kind of an asshole. Snow is just like a dickhead. Like, Zaz is like, I'm neutral on Zaz. He's fine. He's got, he's trying to, save his kid or whatever. Weirdly enough, the only character I actually liked in the game was Vanille.
Really?
And it's probably just because she's cute. And I think that's it. She's just like,
Well, at least you're honest.
I mean, she's just like the typical like cute anime girl. It's like, yeah, we're gonna go on an adventure and have fun, yay! And she's just like always positive, So I don't know. There was something about that I liked. What was the dark hair girl with the blue dress? What was her name?
Fang.
Fang. Yeah, I was gonna say Rain,
Fang,
but
yeah.
Fang's all right. I kind of like Fang.
Yeah,
the
Fang
music
was cool.
I actually dug the music. Like the battle theme's good, and there's some good tunes in there for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you too on the story, Brandon. Like I just didn't, whether it made sense or not, I just didn't care what was happening. I think that was another big thing. It's just like it maybe does. I can kind of maybe follow what's happening, but I just didn't care about anything. So I'm like, all right, I'm just beating this to say I beat it, not because I'm curious to see the end or anything like that. So, and I'm also with you. It just doesn't really feel like a Final Fantasy game. There's very little, like if you stripped out like chocobos and moogles and whatever, it's like, it's not even really a Final Fantasy game. So,
Breaking my heart.
It sounds like you guys want to put it in B tier, and I'm okay with that, but I think it has to go behind 8 for sure.
Okay. I can be okay with that. If we can put it in B tier.
You don't think it's the same tier as Final Fantasy 1 and 3?
It's way better than 1 and 3.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's definitely. I think it's way better. Like if there was a tier in between, that's where I think it goes. But I'm willing to concede to.
It'll end up in the back hat, like the very last of the B tier, which fine, whatever. I understand. This is the Level Up Legacy podcast tier list.
Yeah.
Slam, we're gonna just dissolve the podcast after this because Slam can't handle our take.
Yeah, 10 and 13. You guys are killing me, but it's okay. It's okay. You guys, you were very fair. I appreciate it because I think Tay, honestly, he's being very nice because I think personally he really wanted to put 13 in D tier. Let's just be real. He really did, and he allowed me to put it in B tier. So I appreciate it.
I'll say this: when I did my ranking, I think I did 2, 1, 3, 13. That's how I had it.
Yeah,
so
13 was pretty low for me too.
It actually is kind of fitting perfectly with how we have it, so I'm kind of okay with
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. We're gonna move to 14.
How many of us have played
I
14? Taylor, have you played 14?
I have, yeah. I've played a
Okay,
little
me
bit.
too.
I played the base version of A Realm Reborn.
Oh wow, so
then
the
you're
bad
not
one?
gonna have anything to say.
Oh no, you
Yeah.
played the Realm Reborn. Okay, so
Yeah, not OG
I
14.
I
Realm
haven't
Reborn.
I've played OG 14 and then I also played A Realm Reborn and then I played
Oh, you did OG?
I did. I used to be really
Wow.
into
Nice.
MMOs back in the day. Like I was very, very big into MMOs. And when I found out Final
Okay.
Fantasy was having an MMO, I was 100% all in. I was obsessed with the idea of this game long before it came out. I have not played the last 2 or 3 expansions because I don't have time to play MMOs anymore. I just don't, and they take over your entire life. They just do, and you'll
They
play
do.
nothing else. You
Yeah.
literally
Yeah, you
play
have to focus
nothing
in.
else. 8, 10 hours a day at
Yep.
at an MMO, and I'm just not there. So personally, I think Final Fantasy 14 is the best MMO ever made, and I still think to this day, right now, today, it's still the best MMO you can play by a
Agreed.
long shot. And I don't think anybody comes anywhere close to touching it. And that's my
Yeah.
personal opinion. And I know I'm a little bit biased because I love JRPGs and World of Warcraft and everything's out there. But Final Fantasy 14 is it. It's the best MMO ever. And the way that it is, it's probably the best story in history of games of fixing itself. You know what I mean? Of like
Yeah.
coming out as just like this completely broken mess of a game that everybody despised and turning into the best MMO ever made.
And the way they weaved the actual in-game story through that
That
journey is
yeah
wild.
is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I freaking love that.
I would put this in S tier, the back of S tier, like the last of S tier, just for the sake that it is the best MMO ever created. And honestly, you would go into it and you would play an MMO and you're thinking it's just an MMO with like a Final Fantasy skin. No, this feels very Final Fantasy. If you ever wanted to go play a game where you lived in a Final Fantasy world and were able to completely customize everything about it, and like it's a dream come true for a lot of fans of the series. And there's really nothing like it out there. So yeah, for me, this is an S tier game just for that thing alone.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard with an MMO to like place them against the single player games
Yeah.
because it's an MMO and it's so like functionally different. But something that I said in my video, and I'll say it again, like Final Fantasy 14 is the biggest celebration of the entire franchise of any franchise that I have ever seen, and every expansion, every time they come out with new content, the story, the extra dungeons, the raids, the characters, the music, like it just gets better and better and better and better and better and better. And there's just so much Final Fantasy in this game. Like that might sound dumb. Like of course it's a Final Fantasy MMO, but you have like Final Fantasy 1 through 15 references. They got 16 stuff in there. They have some tactics raids. Like they got stuff from Vagrant Story thrown in there. Like this, they just went all in on this game, and it is so much fun to play, especially with friends. And yeah, for me, easy S tier. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm pitting them against single player, it would be toward the top of the S tier for me personally, because I haven't played the latest expansion for reasons that you just mentioned, Slam. But I played all the way up to it, and the story, like this is some of the best storytelling the franchise has ever seen. As much as I love these other stories and these other games, and this is one again. I said like I wish that Square Enix would find a way to take this game and break it out and release it as some sort of single player content that's more accessible to people, because I don't think people understand how freaking good this story is. Like people are like, "Oh yeah." If you
Especially
play
after
14,
you
you're
get
gonna like
that,
it.
after you get past the Realm Reborn, it
Yeah,
gets so
Heaven,
good.
like starting
Yeah.
with Heaven's Word on, it's unbelievable, and the soundtrack is so good. Um, yeah, It's crazy. Oh, side note, this is kind of a fun fact. I used to be friends with Amanda Atchen back in the day. There it is, the podcast thumbs up. Who does a lot of the singing, like live singing, and some of the in game singing for a lot of the Final Fantasy 14 music. And when I found out that she was the person, I was like, I know that person. Do I know that person? And that was a wild connection. So shout outs to Amanda. Yeah, that was. I'm a little bit jealous. I'm just a little bit jealous. But yeah, 14's top tier for me. Easy.
All right. Tay, you said you've
Okay.
played a little bit. Are you high enough on it that you're okay with putting it this high?
Yeah, I have no problems with it. I haven't played enough of it to fall in love with it like everybody else has, but I have no active things I don't like about it. It's just I bought it. It was like a PS4 launch game for me. It was like really one of the few games that was out. So I played it, I think, for maybe 2 months, and I would just kind of play it here and there. I never really did any of the raids. I was just kind of going through the story and stuff. And it was, like I said, it was fine. I think I was at that point, I was done with MMOs and that style of combat, though. So it really, it didn't do it for me. But I love the world. I love just walking around and existing in that world and exploring. And that's huge for me in RPGs. And I love how it looks, and the music's great. So I am fine to have it in S. No arguments there.
All right.
All right.
Because it's an MMO, I'll keep it behind
On the back,
single
in the
players
back
for
yeah.
now.
That's
but
where I'm at with it.
people just need to know that if this was an
And-
MMO tier list, it would be the top of the top.
Everybody was mad at me that I didn't include 14 in my ultimate ranking, even though I said at the beginning that I wasn't going to include it. But just know, I love it. It's great. And it is my favorite MMO of all time and one of my favorite games of all time. So that's why it's up there. Moving on to 15, one of my least
15.
favorite games of all time and my least favorite fantasy. Yes, it's D tier. I hate it. It's bad.
Really?
I think I would put it in front of Final Fantasy 2 at D tier. That's where I'm sitting.
Wow.
Dude, I would put it. I personally would put it at the top of C for me. I enjoyed it. It felt unfinished to me, and I know everybody's
It is
like,
it was
but there's
completely
the DLC
unfinished
now and stuff.
It's
But, like,
literally
even-
unfinished. Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
literally
even-
it was an unfinished game when I played it.
Yeah. I think for me, like the combination of this
And-
took like way too long to get out. The DLC didn't like it might have fixed
Not even just
some
the
of
DLC.
the
You have to watch a
information, but-
movie and an anime and play DLC to get the entire story. This game is bad. It's not good. It's the only one I feel like in this whole list that we're about to talk about that deserves D tier the most. Like I
More
put
than
it,
2?
I put it above 2 because like it's still generally fun to play it sometime. Like sometimes it's fun to play the moment to moment gameplay. But overall, it's a disjointed story. The characters aren't that good. It went this whole route with like this, emo, like kind of weird story direction that didn't make a lot of sense. And the further you got into it, you saw that there were just other avenues that needed to explain the story more instead of just being there in the game. It was just so totally disjointed, so unfinished. The characters weren't all that likable. The story went off the beaten path a million times. And it was the first time that the combat system completely left turn-based, which was left this huge sour taste in my mouth. And it left a really bad impression on me. I finished it, and I even went back and played it again after it was complete. And I do admit the complete, like the version, I don't remember what they called
Royal
it.
version or something.
Yeah.
Royal, yeah.
I admit that's significantly better, right? But that's not the way I played it the first time. So my first
Yeah.
impression was definitely soured on that game, and I wasn't a fan of it. I would put it.
Yeah.
I think in my own personal ranking, I put it very, very low, maybe 2 and then like 15 or something like that. But I'm low on it. I'm pretty low on it.
Interesting. We're kind of all over the place. For me, It's the only Final Fantasy I got the platinum trophy in. I did everything in this game, but I was also like, this was probably some like, I don't even know what the right word is. Like copium being like, I wanted it to be as good as I thought it would be in my mind. Like that initial reveal trailer when they re-announced it as 15. I'm not joking. I probably watched that like 5 times a day for like a year. I was so excited.
I
for
was
this game.
excited too. I was too.
Yeah, and
It was supposed to be a different game.
yes,
Yeah, it's
very
supposed to be
different.
versus 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's a lot of story elements that got changed. Weirdly enough, the one part that bummed me out the most is in that initial re-reveal trailer, there's this part where Noctis, like Leviathan's destroying the city, and like Noctis like dives through the window. And it seems like there's this whole like set piece where he's like running around the city and trying to dodge. And then when you play that in the actual game, it's like super bad, and that boss fight's terrible.
Yep.
It was like one of the worst parts in the whole game. I was like, I was like waiting for this moment, and it wasn't even there, which was so annoying. But that said, like if I were to say like, oh, would you rather go back and play 15 or 13, 1 and 3? I mean, I'd put it above 13. That's my personal opinion. I know that's
could
probably
never.
blasphemy. That's probably blasphemy to slam. So, I mean, we can keep it in C, I suppose. There's no way it goes behind 1. Like it's just, I think 1 is so unfun in comparison.
Yeah, I think it's top of C for me. So, okay, so the music soundtrack is fantastic.
Oh,
It's good.
amazing, yeah.
Soundtrack.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it called? Like Apocalyptic Noctis or whatever that song is called. The boss battle theme was amazing.
How many years did we have to wait between 13 and 15?
I think it was like
Oh,
10 years.
Yeah, that's
something
what I
like that.
thought. And yeah, another
so
reason why I didn't like it. So
Yeah, I was the same thing with you, Tay. I ate it up. So I bought the movie. I got the game. I played the mobile game. Like I played what was the like the digital only side game, like King's something. I feel like it's on this list somewhere.
Yeah, the beat 'em up game.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking
what was
about.
that called?
King's Tale. A King's Tale.
King's.
Yeah.
I
Isn't
played
it
that
in
for
here?
like 2
Too.
hours.
Yeah, it is in here. I played that too. Like I did everything and I was so hyped. I played that demo. I still had that. I still have the demo on my PS4. So for me, I think a lot it's hard to be like totally objective about it because what we got in 15 compared to the hype that they built was not equal
Correct.
to the hype.
Correct.
And so that ended up being a disappointment. There were some moments in the game that were like genuinely emotional for me. But by the time I got to the end of it, I was just kind of like, what? Like
Yeah.
10 ends sadly, but it was a really good ending. 15, I was like, this is sad, but like not in a good way. Like I don't.
Well,
feel
we don't
good
even know
about this
Stella,
ending.
like that new
Yeah.
character, or Luna or whatever her name was. Like we didn't get a chance to know her.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't really care about what happens to you because you're barely in the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. So
I'm
yeah,
okay
I
with
think,
moving it. I'll be okay with moving it to C in front of 1.
Okay.
Just know
I'm sorry, Slam.
that I don't
Sorry,
like
Slam, that we like it more than you.
it. You don't have to apologize. I'm sure it's better than what I think it is. But I just
Maybe.
had a really bad impression. I had high expectations, the highest of expectations, and was
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely
No, me
They
too.
really their marketing cycle for that was amazing. But that was part of the problem.
Yeah.
They made a custom car. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yep,
They made a
I do.
custom Audi, like a 1 of 1. Like that was
Yeah.
insane. They like went all out with the marketing, man. It was nuts.
16.
16.
Oh God, 16.
I liked
Taylor's
it.
gonna be way worse on this.
I
than we are.
know. I know that Brandon loves it. I like everything about it, but the combat. I thought
Really?
I thought the
I'm like
combat
the
was just.
opposite.
I thought the combat was just too easy. Like it was button mashy. There was no thought or complexity to it. The weapons and stuff that you would get throughout the game set like felt super intentional. Like I didn't feel like there was anything different or custom about the way I was playing it or my playthrough than anyone else's. I felt like I advanced with the game when the game wanted me to, and I hated that. That drove me
Yeah.
insane. I was like, "This is." You guys talk about 13 with linearity, and you talk about 10 with being linear. This was linear in a way that was the worst way to be linear. And that the things I like about Final Fantasy are that I can customize things, play styles, battle systems, skills and leveling up and progression the way I want to. And 16 didn't allow for any of that. And
Yeah.
it felt not like a Final Fantasy at all. And it almost didn't even feel like a JRPG in any way. And if I take it out of the Final Fantasy series and just look at it as a game on its own, and say this was a Square Enix action game in the Final Fantasy world, maybe a spinoff of some sort, I'd love it. I'd think it was a great game. If it was, but it's a mainline Final Fantasy 16. I go in with different expectations, and I come in expecting the best of the best. With it needs to feel like a Final Fantasy game, and I'm not saying it has to have turn-based combat, but it has to feel like a JRPG to me. And 16 just doesn't. And so for me, I'm sitting at a B or a C tier because I do think the story, I'm high on the story. I like the characters. I do like some of the things that they did add with the way the story is told. And what was that active lore or something that you can do?
Oh, active time lore. Yeah.
Yeah, loved that.
Cool.
Thought that was so cool. And then there were also some characters that I really liked. What was the uncle's name? Brandon, do you remember?
Oh man, I know who you're talking about.
He had this-
uncle's name?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, shoot. I feel like it starts with an R. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
He's so he had this like
Byron
yeah, I think so.
Rossfield?
Yeah,
Byron,
that was
yeah,
him.
yeah.
And he had this like sense of humor to him that I absolutely loved.
Yeah.
Every time he walked in the room, I was hyped. I was like, yes, it's gonna be Byron's here,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Like, come on, let's get ready.
Yeah.
Byron's here. This is gonna be a great scene. There was a lot of that, and so I do like 16 in that regard. I just don't think it felt like a Final Fantasy, so I'm sitting at a B tier behind 13.
I'm gonna take this one next because Tay, I feel like you're gonna have way more negative things to say than I am. So upon reflection, my estimation of this game has lowered slightly. I still really like the game, and one of the things that I did like about it is I did see the DNA of Final Fantasy XIV in this game. Even a lot of the character models, the way they moved, was just straight out of 14. So there was a lot of what I like about 14 in it. The characters were incredible. The voice acting, the delivery of the characters. Yeah. Clive's uncle is a great example of that. Like the dynamic they have there felt very real. But I think for me, so story and character wise, I really, really liked it. The boss battles were unbelievably cool. Like, I don't think anybody would argue that the boss battles were
Oh
not
yeah,
just
those were
stunning
amazing
to look at.
Yeah.
Those were amazing. Yeah.
Huge set pieces.
Yeah, but I think the what I've come down to is I don't necessarily think it was a good move to take the Final Fantasy series to a mature setting personally. And I think maybe it's not just mature as a concept in general, but the way they implemented it. Like this game never lets up. It's just dark the whole time. It's just kind of oppressive. And while I still think it was well done, like in that sense it didn't feel like Final Fantasy because there wasn't a lot of levity, and like Final Fantasy is a great mix of like heavy and funny and like those kinds of things. You get that classic mix. Like Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth and Remake are perfect examples of that, right? Where you can have some like heavy content, it can be really intense, and yet there's also these kind of goofy things that happen, and you get to know the characters that way and you have a good time with it. But honestly, just from a pure gameplay standpoint, I had no problem with the battle system. I do think that there was some complexity to how you can do combos and stuff, and I got into that and I had fun. But the exploration was abysmal. Like that's probably the worst thing from my perspective, because one of my favorite things to do in these games is explore and not just find items, but like find weapons you didn't expect that do different things, or, go find some crevice and turns out there's a whole thing that you can explore in there. Maybe there's a cave, maybe there's a special enemy, like something like that. And in 16, it was just like, I'm going to go explore this massive map and I might find a couple of potions. But because of the way they implemented the weapon system, I'm
Which I
never
hated.
finding a weapon that's going to make a big difference. It's all going to be through like the blacksmith, which had an interesting sort of storyline if you did the side quests, but it felt very restricted, and I never got to the point where I felt overpowered, which I didn't hate, but like you guys have seen why I like some of these Final Fantasy games right now, right? So I would have loved to be like, hey, I went and explored this area and found these extra bosses and was able to get this extra cool weapon that you can't get anywhere else, and now I'm doing a ton of damage and I can just blast through certain things, right?
The way I always looked at
none of
it,
that was there.
the way I looked at it is Final Fantasy is great water cooler talk where you can sit there and bounce stories and ideas off of each other of how to approach certain things. And I did this. Oh, that's really cool. I did this way instead. Final Fantasy 16 is more like you're at the water cooler and you're like, have you got this thing yet? Yeah, I got that too. And I don't like that. That's my opinion on it. And that's just not how a Final Fantasy should be. Where would you place it, Brandon?
I would probably place it top of B still, because for me
Ahead of 8?
The story and the characters are still some of the strongest we've seen. Like again, I wish they kind of like tuned down the oppressive nature of just how depressing the world was to live in, because I did get to a point where I was just like did we really win here at the end of this game? Like, even though we overcame this big challenge, like, is this a world you want to live in? Like, is there even any hope here? And that's not great, right? So I think they could have tuned that down, but the character, the voice acting, like Sid and Clive and just everybody else, and Torgal was amazing. Like, he carried that story way more than I thought he would. So I really, really liked the characters, and for me, the characters and the music and the set pieces kind of carried the game. So I'd still place it higher, but I do recognize that there are a lot of flaws with it, as I've thought about it.
Tay, where are you listening?
Yeah, my big problem is basically exactly what Brandon was just kind of touching on. I believe the title of my review is Final Fantasy 16 is a completely joyless experience, because like almost from the get-go, it's just like you said, oppressively grim and unrelentingly dark, and there's like just like, come on, just like let them chill and have a beer together or something like,
Right.
Like even like Final Fantasy 7, right? Like we're going into the last game and it's like, there's a giant meteor hurtling toward our planet. It's going to kill everybody. I mean, it doesn't get much darker than that, but we still have like a little cat character walking around cracking jokes, and we cross dress and we do all these silly things. I think 7 is the perfect blend of all that.
Yeah.
But 16 is just like, no, it's just, you're going to be dark and depressed the whole time. Like I had to stop playing for days at a time because I'm just not having a good time with this. And
that's why I liked Byron so much, because I did feel like he
Yeah.
was supposed to be that.
He added some levity.
He
Yeah.
wasn't in it enough.
Yeah.
No, I
He should have been
agree.
more present.
And then like some of the, like, I think one of the best characters is Sid, and spoilers, but
Yeah.
they kind of kill him off pretty early, or
Really,
earlier than I
yeah.
would have liked.
Way earlier than they should have.
And then like I thought one of the weirdest things they did with Jill and Clive is like there's a lot of time skipping in the game, and there's this part in the game where like Jill and Clive are like adventuring together, and like 3 years go by, and like you're telling me they don't do anything romantically in those 3 years? Like that, I felt like as a player, I was just getting blue ball. I'm like, how is this romance not moving along? Like, this is crazy. Like they took way
It's the
too long for
opposite of what Final Fantasy games typically do in that regard.
exactly, which I did not like.
Yeah.
They got there.
And then, got eventually, but barely. But then it doesn't last long enough, I don't think. And when they went in for, wow, they like really went in. Like it was, you want to talk about the mature rating? It earned its mature rating
On a couple of occasions.
Yeah.
What's her name? What's the short-haired one? Starts with a B.
Benedicta?
Benedicta.
Oh, yeah. I liked her. She was a fun character. She
She
wasn't
was
in it
good.
enough either.
Yeah, she wasn't in it enough either. She was fun. And then she kind of went in a completely different direction than I expected. Like they brought her in as like this big, strong, powerful character, and then, kind of dovetailed into something different.
Yeah, but I feel like there was a lot of stuff in the game that like wasted my time. Like what Brandon said, like there's virtually no exploration. Like I remember you go to this big field area. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm gonna go over to this swamp, and then like there's like these little shiny objects everywhere. I'm like, ooh, 3 gil, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm. Yeah.
And there's no like, ooh, let me find a special weapon. And like the weapons, the only difference between one weapon to the other is one did more damage. It's not like one does fire damage or one does more critical strike. They were all the same. And I'm like,
And they
oh, that's
didn't
so
even look
boring.
that cool. The weapon designs were
No.
not even that cool, man.
No, they weren't.
So disappointing. Yeah.
But like you said, the icon battles were awesome. Like
Yep.
the one with Odin was like insane.
So cool.
I actually didn't mind the combat. I thought it was good. But like one thing that really bothered me is your last home base, the different shops and vendors were like really far apart. And it was
Yeah.
not
I do
convenient to walk
remember
to
that.
them. I'm
I
just
do
like, I
remember
feel
that.
like
It's so
I'm like
funny you
taking
brought that up.
forever to just walk around this little hub. Like, why not just have all of them clumped together? Like, it was so annoying to walk around all the hub spaces. It was so frustrating. And like, you can see the budget. Like, you look around and you can see this is a very expensive game. Like, the environments are so much detail. Like the voice. Like, I will give credit to the performances. Like, they were incredible. It looks really, really nice. I wish it ran better. It doesn't run at a locked 60, which I'm really surprised at, especially on Pro.
Yeah, I just think they haven't updated it yet. I don't think it's got the Pro.
It's got to do
update.
that on the Switch too when they remaster it, right?
13 first.
I mean, I'm sure it'll happen. But
I guarantee you 13, 15, and 16, they're all coming. I would be so surprised if they didn't.
Yeah.
yeah, why not?
So where at on the list do you think you place it today?
I would. I mean, it was fun to play. I will say that looks great. It was fun to play. I would put it in C tier, at the top of C tier. That's where I'd put it.
I would. Yeah, I was the back of B, behind 13. You're the top of C, in front of 15. How about
I was the top,
and
of
you were
B.
the top of B in front of 8. How about we meet in the middle, put it behind 8 in the B tier?
Okay, I think that's.
Sure. That's
Taste-
fair. I think it's
Taste
better
seems
than
disappointed.
13. I think it's better than 13. I guess as I'm shaking this out, I'm like, it feels like it should be in C, but like I think it's better than 13. So
Okay.
I'm
See,
okay with that.
I don't, but I'm okay. I would it's only one spot ahead of where I probably would have had it. So, yeah, we're good.
I actually think this. I think this is for the core series.
It's amazing.
it's
I
pretty
think this
dang
is a
good.
solid list. Now,
Yeah.
we're already at an hour and a half and we have a ton of games left. I think we can kind of go through a lot of these because I guarantee a lot of these we haven't played. So I think
or
we
just
can
do it quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have to spend as much time. We're outside of the core series. This is 10-2, right?
Yeah.
I haven't played 10-2.
I
Okay,
have.
I started it. I haven't beat it.
I finished 10-2. What about you, Tay?
I played it for a few hours. I like the combat, but it's
definitely
even more
not
linear than 10.
It's
very
definitely not
strange
more
game.
10. It's not on that level. I'd probably put it B tier behind 16. If it were me.
I'm gonna take your word for it.
I'm
I don't
okay
know.
with that. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
All right.
Yeah, behind 16, sure.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy IV: The After Years.
Haven't
I have
played it.
not played it.
I would put that I don't know. I'd put it like C tier above Final Fantasy 1. It's fine. It's kind of a retread of Final Fantasy 4 in a less interesting way. Like that's how I'd put it.
Okay.
So personally, yeah, I'd be like above Final Fantasy 1, but below 15.
Let's.
Mm,
That's good.
Probably
I'm
gonna
good
piss
with
somebody
that.
off with that, but
No,
sure,
it's
let's do
fine.
it.
It's totally fine. Stranger in Paradise. I like this one.
Oh, me
Did
too.
anyone
I
else
love
play it?
Oh,
Yeah, I
I
love
beat
Stranger
it.
in
I beat the
Paradise.
DLC. I love
It's
this game.
so fun. It
Yeah.
feels like Neo, but Final Fantasy. I don't know if you played
Yeah.
those games. It's really fun. It's so weird, and it definitely has its awkward moments, and it's definitely not like the highest budget Final Fantasy game, especially when it comes to like the story and the voice acting and the presentation. But it
Oh, it's
is
so cringe. Yeah.
pure joy to play. The
Yes.
moment to moment gameplay is so fun. So
Oh yeah, I agree.
I'm at for this one. I'm at B tier, right behind 16, maybe even ahead of 16. I put it like right in that area.
I'd put it above 16. That'd be my vote.
Okay, let's do that. How you feeling, Brandon? You've never played this one.
I have it, and I never played it. For me, I can't. I was so influenced by people being like, "Oh, it's so cringy," and I was just like, "Is it
This-
just a bad game?"
It's not.
And
No,
It's
the
definitely
story
not.
is
Then-
dumb,
well,
but the
then
gameplay is
later-
amazing.
Yeah, later I started hearing it's actually really fun, and I was like, "Oh, I'll get back to it." But because I didn't like hit it when it came out, it keeps falling behind other things that are coming. So
Next
All
up, we got a big one.
okay, so the next one's tactics, but we also have War of the Lions. I'm
That's
gonna say,
interesting.
and maybe we should talk about this a little bit because we just found out that the remaster is going to be based on the core tactics and not War of the Lions.
Wow, it's such a dumb idea.
which
That's a
is-
mistake.
Yeah, I'm struggling with that one. I'm still very excited because it's tactics.
Same.
Tactics
Yeah,
is
of
Yeah.
course,
but
of course.
But War of the Lions brought us like new jobs, like a bunch of quality of life features. And to be fair, this will bring quality of life features as well because it's a remaster. But
Yeah.
I don't
know.
think. Do we know?
Balthier, man.
Do we know
Losing Balthier
every?
hurts.
Do we know every single piece of new content they're adding in Evil East Chronicles? Yeah,
They might be holding something. I don't
that's
know.
what I was wondering. Like, okay, maybe it's
Probably.
not War of the Lions, but what if it's its own?
I think
You
that's
know what I mean?
probably what they're gonna do.
That,
I think
that's
this is
just
gonna be like War of the Lions adjacent, but
yeah.
but the way they kind of originally envisioned, because I get a sense that War of the Lions isn't exactly what some of the original team wanted to do. But
Yeah.
as far as breaking things go, I'm sorry, but like level down
Nothing
traps
tops-
with Balthier and Barrage and mixing classes to dual wield double knight swords and max out damage
Yes.
made it so that I could beat the last boss in like one hit, and I'm gonna miss that.
Yeah. I mean, calculate holy with a calculator, man. I mean, that just one shots the entire map.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nothing breaks it more than that.
I love that. So look,
So we're putting it at the top of S, right?
okay, War of
I do think War
we've
of the
got
Lions
do we have
is S
3
tier.
tactics games here?
There's
So
Tactics
one
Advance
of
and
them's
Advance
Tactics
2.
Advance and then A2, yeah.
Okay. Well,
I think-
obviously
So I will say this. I think it's worth mentioning this about War of the Lions. It does have that weird slowdown when you do like special attacks, which
Yep.
is annoying.
but not annoying
Yeah,
enough
but
to. It's
yeah,
definitely the
yeah.
best of these 3, and I would
Sure.
put it in S tier behind 9.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ooh, okay. Wow, you're giving up a 10 spot, huh? Slam, you dog.
I did it for Tay because I mean, look, if we're talking core Final Fantasy, mainline Final Fantasy 10 is my all-time favorite, but Final Fantasy Tactics is my favorite tactics game of all time.
Yeah.
Not like my favorite Final Fantasy spinoff or my favorite Final Fantasy game. It's my favorite tactics game of all time. And it's
Yeah.
not
I think
it's not even really close.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think it's
I
the
would
best
even-
strategy RPG ever made.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
would
just a
even say-
love letter, just like 14. It's a little bit of a love letter to the whole series. You know what I mean? So yeah, War of the Lions. I'm sitting in front of 10 on that one, and I don't know how we should approach these other ones, Tactics and Tactics Advance.
So I played Advanced in A2. So first of all, even vanilla Tactics, I would still put S tier if we had to put it somewhere.
Yeah.
So, and I say that to say, like, I know it's disappointing that War of the Lions content isn't coming to this remaster, but this remaster is going to be really freaking good. Like,
Yeah.
people should
Oh, it will
not
be.
be excited about this.
I'm
'Cause
100% agreement.
Yeah.
Um, so let's put advance at the back of A tier. Are we good with that?
Okay. I've never played either. I've heard A2 is better, but I've never played either of those two.
I've a little bit, but not a lot.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
played the original Tactics.
A2 is above Tactics in my opinion.
Really? Wow.
A2.
Sorry. A2 is above Tactics Advance.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So here, okay.
I say just leave OG Tactics off. Like, we don't have to put both of them on. I think it's fine.
Okay.
Well, you have. So hold on.
I have Tactics Advance and A2 in the A tier, and then A2 is above Tactics, but they're both below 5. So Tactics Advance, so Advance and A2 are very fun games to play, but they lose a lot of the story and intensity of Tactics, and it makes them feel like lesser games, in my opinion. Tactics Advance 2 or A2 just takes everything that Tactics Advance did well and makes it way better. So of the two games, like A2 is definitely the more fun to play.
Just so we don't,
they have the.
we shouldn't. I mean, it makes sense to leave the OG off, but I don't want to. So let's just throw it in the S tier.
All right.
Behind
Because it
War of the
deserves-
Lions, then?
yeah,
Sure.
yeah, behind War of the Lions, or even in the back. It doesn't matter to me. Just have it somewhere in there.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's just throw it up there.
I will say
Yeah.
I haven't played Advanced or A2, but the one thing that I've heard about them that sounds incredibly annoying are the laws, where it's like, oh, on this map you can't use knights, or on this map you can't use magic. It's like, oh, what? You're like, I'm building my characters or my team in a very specific way. Why would you not
Yeah.
let me just play it however I want? So in that sense, I think that's annoying. I just don't know if it actually makes the game worse.
It doesn't end up being as annoying as you would think, because the bonuses you get from figuring it out can be really helpful and really cool. I was just, the least interesting thing to me is the story in those games, whereas Tactics has got like an S tier story. Like Tactics has got a really good story. It's super interesting. Advanced and A2 are both like, you're a kid and you stumble upon a book and you're sucked into Evilise, and now what are you gonna do? Right, and there's some interesting twists and turns. And in A2, you actually meet some of the Final Fantasy 12 characters. So you meet Vaughn when he's like a fully fledged sky pirate and stuff like that. And that's super cool. Like, I like that they made those connections. But otherwise, those stories don't touch the original Tactics.
So
Yeah.
what's this next one up here?
I think that's Revenant Wings, Final Fantasy 12
Revenant
Wings.
Wings,
I
yeah.
haven't played
That's
that.
played that. Yeah, I haven't
That's
played
a
that one either.
solid C, baby. I love
played
that
it?
game, but I don't think it is much better than most of these games.
Okay,
Okay.
back of C. I will take your word for it. What's
I
next?
don't know what this next one is.
I think that might be a King's Tale, the beat 'em up for 15.
Yeah, that looks like it.
It's okay. Like,
I've never played it.
it's fine. I have beat it. It's very short. It's like an hour long. It's a little side-scrolling beat 'em up. It's nothing special.
I'd call it D. Well, I don't.
Either
it's,
top of D or bottom of C. I'm okay either way.
Yeah, let's do bottom of C. It's done. It's okay. It's just too short and not super meaningful. But for what it is, it's fun.
Okay. Oh, that's not a King's Tale. I don't know what this is then.
No, this one I think is Final Fantasy VII. I think it was the mobile spinoff, which I have not played. Has anybody played that?
No. Let me pull up the actual tier list and see if I can get a better look at what this is. Oh yeah, Before Crisis.
Yeah,
I've never.
Before
I haven't.
Crisis.
That was like a Japanese only mobile visual novel thing or something. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Dirge of Cerberus.
Oh,
Dirge
God.
of Cerberus.
We're all fans
Go.
of Dirge. We love Dirge. Let's
We
go.
love it.
This
It's
is
the
a
best
B
D
tier
tier I've ever
game.
played in my life.
I haven't gone back and
So-
played it since like it came out, basically.
I have. It's
Yeah.
janky. It's janky, but I
Yeah.
still love it. Like story wise, it was so cool. Vincent's such a cool character. I think the gunplay is fine. The melee combat is pretty not
Yeah,
great.
it's
But the
bad.
customization of the
So you're
guns is so
saying
cool.
They just need
I
to remake
still love it.
Dirge of Cerberus.
Yes.
Everybody will be really
Yes.
excited to play it.
That would be
I-
actually
Um,
kind of interesting.
The
Yeah,
12
it
of
would.
us, the 12 of us who love this game would be so excited.
Where's it going? Where's it going?
My heart says
I'd
A
put
or
it-
B tier, but
I'd
my
put-
brain
No
says
way,
probably
no
C
way.
tier.
I think my heart says back of B, really does. But I think it's more likely back of C.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Maybe even
I'm gonna put it above 1. And if somebody gets angry, let me know in
Yeah,
the
sure.
comments.
I'm
Yeah, it's
happy with that. I mean,
Yeah, I'm okay with that. There's some interesting Final Fantasy VII lore in there. I'm a bit of a hype man for 7, so that's fine.
Yeah.
we got Crisis. Is that Crisis Core next?
Yep.
Yeah,
Is that Crisis?
Core.
Yeah, Crisis Core. Yeah, that one's great. Love
Yeah.
Crisis Core a lot. I mean, I love
A
Reunion.
tier.
I would put it in A tier. Absolutely.
Me too.
Yeah,
Where in A tier?
Where in A tier? We got
Above the tactics ones, maybe?
Yeah, definitely above
behind
the
5.
tactics ones. Behind 5, yeah. Let's
Sure.
do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. Like, I could make an argument for pushing it higher, but I think that's a good, comfortable spot.
Okay. What about the Final
remake.
Fantasy VII remake?
I think
This
that's
is-
S tier. That's
Yeah, it
me,
is. It's
but
one of
I
my
love that
favorite
game.
games of all time. This and Rebirth
Yeah, I
are
mean-
just like seriously
Yeah.
amazing. I'd put it above 14, behind 6.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably
Okay,
even
I'm-
put
I
it
got-
ahead of 6, behind 10. I
I
like it
got
that
remake
much.
and rebirth above here, up here, yeah.
Behind 6? Is that where?
Behind 6, yeah.
Do you have remake ahead of Rebirth? What do you
I
guys
don't.
think?
I think Rebirth is.
Yeah, I
maybe-
think Rebirth is better.
Rebirth should really be.
He
much
just gets
higher in the
mad.
tier
He just
list.
gets mad about. Brandon gets mad because he
Hey,
doesn't like the open
Hey,
world.
hey, did you hear what I just said?
No.
I said it should be higher in
Oh.
the S tier list, son.
I thought he was going to
Get outta
complain like
here.
you did on that
Get
other
outta
podcast. You
here.
complained about it for like 10 minutes. Okay.
No, that's because
Rebirth.
everybody was like, "This is the greatest game of all time," and
It
I'm like,
is one
"It's
of the
it's
greatest
okay.
game of all time."
It's okay to be
Um,
like, "Hey, the story was so good that this extra stuff was a little bit, unnecessary."
So you
It's
got
okay to say that.
Rebirth ahead of 10.
I do.
Is it, you know what's wild about Rebirth? I don't want to linger on this too long, but I think it's wild that people say Rebirth is so good and it has too much content. Like how the complaints are that it's too good, basically.
That's,
I could-
yeah. That's my, and you just said that perfectly. Like my complaint is that the story is so freaking good that there was too much other good content taking me away from the good thing that I was trying to pursue. So effectively,
It's a
yes,
w-
it's too good.
It's a weird problem to have.
I love Rebirth so incredibly much.
Yeah.
It's
One of my favorite games
very,
ever.
It's
Yeah.
very special.
Yeah.
What
It
is
was
this?
amazing.
What is this next?
I don't know
one?
what this.
I don't know.
I don't know
what
what
it
I
is.
don't
this
know.
is.
This looks like Rebirth, but we can just put this in the what the heck is this?
Yep, because that's exactly what we just said. What about the next one? I can't
don't
read
know
it.
what that is.
I feel
Let me
like I should
see.
know this one.
I can't
That looks
read
like
it.
Type Zero. That looks like Type Zero.
It does look like
Yeah,
Type Zero, and if it is, I played it and
I haven't
enjoyed
played
it. It was on. When did they re-release it? PS3.
20.
Yeah, I think so.
That's when I played
maybe?
it.
2014.
That's when I played
Yeah, it was
it.
like the PS4. It was a remaster.
There
on
was some
PS4.
demo for some other game in it too,
15. Yeah, it
Yeah.
came with the 15 demo. That's the only
right.
reason anybody bought it.
and I bought it because of that. And I played through it, and I loved it. I actually really liked it. I would put it.
Yeah, I liked.
I liked it better
liked
than
it too.
15, definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I would put it
I don't
behind
think
13.
it's.
So B tier.
Yeah,
B
that's
tier.
fine. Yeah, I'm good with that.
I think I booted it up and played like 10 minutes and then got distracted. So, all right, Slam.
13-2. This is my is my favorite of the 13 trilogy. This is better than 13 by a lot. Better than 10-2, better than 16. I would put it
Better than Strangers of Paradise?
I'd put it ahead of Stranger of Paradise behind 8.
Ooh.
Behind
Okay. I've never
8.
played it. I haven't played it, so I'm okay with that.
You know what? I'm going to give this one to you, Slam. I'm going to say it's above 8. I've played enough of 13 to say
I
that,
can't
like,
sign off on that.
mechanically-
I can't
I don't know if I can sign up on that.
It's so
I'm not gonna
funny. His
sign up
tone
on-
changed so much just from that one spot.
Mechanically, like the game is very, very fun, and the battle system is very well
And the
done.
story is 10 times better than 13.
I've heard that. I really want to play this.
Yeah.
Because I've
really-
heard that.
It's really good. I mean, like,
Has anybody played? Oh, go ahead.
I understand if you don't want to put it ahead of 8, but I think it at least is right behind 8.
Okay, I'm fine leaving it there. I haven't played it, so I can't say anything. It could be better. So
Lightning Returns is next, and that one's the worst one of the trilogy.
yeah, oh god, it's so bad.
I would be okay with putting this in C tier ahead of 15.
I'd be okay putting it in D tier, honestly. Well, I think the combat's really good, but that's it.
You know what?
I'm gonna move. Let's move King's Tale down to D tier above 2. Like, I feel like that being in the same tier, it's just not. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
that's fair. It's a little freebie whatever game. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Lightning Returns then bottom of C.
I mean, I'd be okay with top of D, bottom of C.
Yeah, same.
Let's do bottom of C.
Okay.
Okay, Chocobo GP I have on here still.
Never played it.
Haven't played it.
All right, haven't played, but heard that it was a monetized dumpster fire. That's just what I heard. Haven't played it. The next one, I don't know what that is.
What is that? Both
What
of
the heck
those.
is
I think-
this? All right. What
I
the
think
heck
it
is
was like a
this?
mobile. Don't know.
Both of those.
Okay, Justice Monsters 5. I played that game on
Of course you
the
did.
phone, and it's definitely D tier because it was not only super boring, but they shut it down like immediately.
It's
So-
ahead of King's Tale.
Oh, sorry.
yeah,
No,
yeah, no
sorry,
way.
It needs to go down to the bottom.
The way you made it
Yeah.
sound, it was like, man, Final Fantasy 2 must be the worst game ever made.
Okay, Final
sorry.
Fantasy 15: A New Empire. That was a mobile game I didn't play.
Anybody play that
Oh,
one?
I
No,
I haven't played it either.
So I haven't played.
Monsters of the Deep. Final Fantasy 15. Anybody play that one?
I think that was like a VR fishing game. Haven't played that either.
Amazing game.
Dude, they
It
really
was, that's
did.
what it was.
They really did go all in on 15.
Man, now I know what was missing from the main story. I needed to play the spin-off fishing game.
Monsters of the Deep.
What is this one?
Okay.
Is this the mobile
This is
Final
the-
Fantasy
yeah.
15 version? The one
Hey,
that came to
Yeah.
Switch?
technically, this is available on the Switch. Yeah, so
is.
15 is on the Switch.
Okay, this game
Anybody play it?
sucks. No, it's worse than the other one. It's D tier.
Oh, I
Or
haven't
we-
played it.
That's-
I played it for like. If
I've
you
never
said it was
played it.
15, I played it for like an hour, maybe 2 hours, and it is exactly 15 with a chibi art style. It is moment for moment the 15 game.
And so it's
It-
D tier?
Like because the art style is terrible and it runs terrible and it looks awful.
Okay.
I don't know. This is
Is it
just my
below
opinion.
2? Well, you're the
feel
only
like-
one that has an opinion on this one. So
I've only
go
played
for
it for 2 hours and I would put it at the bottom of D tier. But I also don't like 15. So
I'm gonna put it above Justice
if
Monsters
if you're
5.
like I got 15 personally was like bottom of the C, early D tier for me. So you asked me I've got a worse version of 15 for you. Where would you place it?
Fair enough. Justice
know.
Monsters 5 couldn't possibly be better than that though. So I'm gonna.
I haven't played it. Or what's
Okay.
this next one?
Some other 15 thing.
It's a mobile game. It's kind of like a base building mobile game. We can
Haven't
say
played?
haven't played, but it's It's
Okay.
probably garbage.
Brave Exvius.
I think
I
that
played
game's
it.
all right.
Yeah,
It's
I
all
played
right.
it for a while. It was okay, but I hate mobile games generally speaking. So
C.
I would probably rate this super low.
Bottom of C.
Bottom of C. All right. This is also Brave Exvius, but I don't know what the difference is. So what the heck is that?
What the heck is that? Let's go.
I don't know what this one is at all. Anybody?
Okay, I played this a lot. So this is War of the Visions, Brave Exvius. Imagine Brave Exvius, but it's Final Fantasy Tactics. It's actually really good, and I'm super bummed they made it a mobile game because the visuals were incredible. It was fully voice acted. There was a cool story. The gameplay was good, but it had just mobile garbage in it. So I would put it. I think it's better than Lightning Returns for sure. I think the battles are fun. That's where I'd throw it above Lightning Returns.
Take your word for it.
Yeah, we'll take your word for that one. I don't know what this Chocobo game is.
I don't know what the heck
Dungeon
is
2.
this.
Anybody?
Nope, haven't played any of the
Haven't
Chocobo
played
games.
it.
Haven't played it.
Something haven't played it. Chocobo Tales, haven't played it. Chocobo Dungeon on the Wii? Haven't played it. This is getting easy. Crystal Chronicles. Okay.
Oh,
I
God.
love
Bottom
Crystal
of D.
Chronicles soundtrack.
What?
The soundtrack is really good for this one. That's about as much as I can say.
Oh, it's so boring, man. It's so boring.
And the
It's
remake
so-
made it worse.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so bad.
Where does
we're
it go?
talking better than Final Fantasy 15 mobile?
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
it is.
Okay. I'm going to play it there.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Ring of
better.
Fates.
Never
Don't know what that
played
is.
it.
Never played
Haven't
it.
played it. My Life as a King? Haven't
Don't even know what that.
played it.
Never even heard of that.
Echoes of Time? Haven't
No.
played it. My Life as a Dark Lord?
No.
Hey, what the heck is
Haven't played
this?
it.
Because
what the
I've
heck
never
is
even heard
it?
of it.
That one I actually know because of the Final Fantasy trading card game, because they had some pretty cool art in some of those cards, but otherwise I would have no idea what that was. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Crystal Bear?
No.
What the heck is
Haven't played it.
Okay, what the
We're
heck is it?
People are going to be like, these guys have never played a Final Fantasy game in their life.
this? We spent an hour and a half talking about the mainline games.
Crystal Guardians? Crystal
Candy,
Glorious
is there
Week?
a section for can't even
What the heck
pronounce
is
the
this?
name?
Yeah.
No.
Final Fantasy. What the heck is
No,
this?
what is that? What is that? Is that something I know?
I don't know what that is.
No.
Something Storm. I genuinely have no idea what that is.
Okay, what the heck is this?
This one is Fantasy Dimension.
No.
What the
Don't
heck
know
is
what
this? Also Final Fantasy Dimension. What the heck is this? Okay, Dissidia.
Yep,
This thing is
I've played
solid.
Dissidia.
that's
Yeah.
good. Is this?
I'd say solid C.
I even put it higher than that personally, but
Okay. Solid
mean,
C.
I
ahead
think
of.
Duodecim is way better.
That's the
it
next
had,
one.
like more characters, and there's like a world.
There's a
map and
lot of
story, but-
Dissidia games, man. I haven't played all of them. I
Yeah.
played this one and the next one, and then the other ones I have not.
Yeah.
I would put this above Lightning Returns.
Okay. We'll do the next
right.
two up there.
Yeah. Didn't
which
play
one?
NT. That's Dissidia NT. I haven't played that.
Oh yeah, I haven't either. Slam.
Nope.
Okay. Opera Omnia. I know that's a mobile game. Anybody?
Nope.
I've played that. It's cool. Like you collect characters from across the Final Fantasy universe, and you just do simple turn-based combat. It's probably top of D, bottom of C, but it's a mobile game, so I'm happy to do bottom of D.
Bottom of D. No, it can't be bottom.
Or not bottom. Sorry, top of D. My bad. If that's what I
Not
said.
with Justice Monsters 5 taking the crown for bottom of D. All right, Final Fantasy Explorers. I did play this one. It was fun for a few hours, and then I got bored. It's basically, it felt like
Final Fantasy Monster Hunter, right?
Final Fantasy Monster Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah,
but-
I'd say that's exactly my experience. Played for a few hours and then I never went back.
All right, let's do top of D.
Okay.
Explorers Force. I have no idea what that is. Haven't played it. At
Haven't
least I can
either.
read it, so I'll put it there. Final Fantasy Legend on the Game Boy. Where's
these are
David Vink when
basically
you
saw-
need him, right?
These are saga games, essentially. I think these are all terrible. They're bad. The first one's really, really boring.
D.
I just think Game Boy. Yeah, I think Game Boy RPGs are just like unplayable, basically.
Except for Pokemon.
Yeah, that's true. I'll give it to Pokemon. Pokemon's good.
Okay, so Legend 2 and 3 are they just like is this the general order?
Give me a hot second because I did a ranking. I ranked all of these, and I want to see where I put those because I feel like there was one that was better than the others. Hold on.
And does Final Fantasy Adventure fit into that as well? There's Legend 1, 2, and 3, and then there's Adventure.
I think that's a mana game, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
Oh, that's right. That was the era when they were just like, put Final Fantasy on everything. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Okay. So Final Fantasy Legend 3 is the best, or 2, I'm sorry. 2's the best, then 3, and then 1's like by far the worst.
Okay. All right. I just moved
So
them
that's how
around like that.
Cool. Perfect.
Okay, the next 3 are theater rhythm games. I freaking love those games.
Me too.
Like,
those are really fun.
Those I feel weird saying this because like we're comparing it to the rest of the franchise by now, but all of the early watchers already got the franchise. Like I would put them in A tier. Like every iteration of that game that I've played, I loved it. Like not just this is a fun side game. Like I got sucked into it. The music is one of the best parts about this franchise, and they made it a game, and then they just made it better, and it's just so much fun. I don't know what order I'd put them in, but I love.
I think
these
the second. I haven't played the third one, but the second one is probably my favorite, just because it has the most content. But yeah, I'd be totally okay with that. Yeah, is Curtain Call the second one? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. So I would say the newest one on the Switch is definitely the highest. Curtain Call was amazing, and then the original is still up there for me.
All A tier, huh? Okay.
I love those.
Okay.
Whatever.
This is a what the heck is this? I think. Anybody know what that is?
No, is that World of Final Fantasy?
Oh wait, yes, it is.
And I played that on Vita a lot, and that's a A or a B tier game.
It's at least B. Yeah, it's really good. It's a lot of fun.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I never played it. So
Let's
I
put
can't
it
speak to it.
ahead of 16.
Ahead of 16. I'm gonna put it ahead of 10 too. I'm gonna fight you on that one. I'm gonna put it ahead of 13.
I'll put it behind 13.
I'm gonna put it ahead of Type 0.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that.
Let's put it in C.
Let's put it.
Sure.
Right. I think this is another good celebration. Celebration of. You're gonna put it behind Type 0. You didn't even play Type 0.
Tay seemed like he was having a hard time with that.
I promise
What's
you, World of Final Fantasy is better than Type 0.
All right, word.
I have not played it, so I can't say anything.
Final Fantasy Mana Adventure of Mana.
Don't know.
Don't know. Never played it either.
Man, we got some games to catch up on, folks. Mystic Quest. Oh, I have Mystic Quest. I just haven't played it. Anybody else play it?
Neither have
No.
I.
Never played it.
Haven't played 4 Heroes of Light, which was basically proto Bravely Default, from what I've heard.
Yes.
I have not played it.
I have not played it either.
Damn.
Haven't played.
What is this?
This
What the
is
heck
all the
is
bravest.
this?
No.
Okay,
That's
no,
all
you
the bravest. That goes at the bottom of D. Nothing is worse than all the bravest.
Really? Okay.
So this is how you play all the bravest. That's the game. You have like a group of characters and you literally tap them to attack and they're on a cooldown. So basically you just go like this. And if they die, you have to pay to revive them. And that's the game.
Like for real pay?
Yes.
Sounds
crazy.
awful.
Wow.
Yeah.
We need to make a special F tier for that one.
Oh,
awful.
Pictologue.
What the heck is this?
What the heck is this? Okay, Record Keeper. I don't like mobile games. I actually really liked Record Keeper because what Record Keeper did really well, like yes, you had all of the Final Fantasies and you can recruit the characters and they had the whole gacha system for getting weapons and stuff, but what Record Keeper did really, really well is they tuned in on the strategy of the turn-based gameplay. So for some of those bosses, you really had to lock into how you built your team, what your support was, who your healer was, what kinds of healing they had, who your attackers were. Like, it was, and I hate to say this because, again, I'm not a huge mobile game fan, but I would say that it was probably one of the best strategic iterations of the turn-based combat system in the series in a long time, and it was a mobile game. It was surprisingly well built.
Cool.
So
I will definitely
I
take your word for it because I didn't know.
they shut it down though. That's the thing about mobile games. Like once they're not popular anymore, they're just going to shut it down. So you can't even play it anymore.
Shut it down.
I would say, oh shoot, where would I put this? It's a mobile game, so I feel like it should inherently be in D, but it was really good. I'm gonna.
I mean, Brave Exvius is a mobile game, so
you're gonna put it that
at,
high?
like,
Back of C, bottom of B.
Ah, man.
No,
did you guys play
dude.
it?
No,
you
but
play
you
it?
can't. You can't, dude. We got it ahead of Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 1 and 3.
I would have.
Final Fantasy 13.
I would have preferred
Dirge of
to
Cerberus.
Play,
no,
you're right. Dirge of Cerberus. We'll put it behind Dirge of Cerberus.
You spent like 30 minutes talking about how amazing Final Fantasy 15 was, dude. I'm not gonna sit here and let you put that game in front of it.
Wait, how amazing it was?
I
15.
I didn't talk about how amazing 15 was.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
You loved
You're
it.
gonna go re-listen to this podcast, and you're gonna regret saying those words,
check the
buddy.
tape.
Check the
Check the tape. Okay, and then last one is Mobius, which I played
didn't
for
play it.
about 2 days.
I didn't play it either.
I'm gonna put it in haven't played because I don't feel like I could fairly rank that one. I didn't put enough time into it. Okay, we did it.
We did
This
it.
is the
What a tier list, guys.
the undisputed ultimate Final Fantasy tier list of all time that nobody else can challenge or say anything about ever.
That's right.
Except for
That's
you
right.
if you're watching still. By the way, thanks for being here.
Yeah, how long has it
and,
been?
I don't know. It's the
over 2
longest
hours.
podcast.
It's two. You guys got a twofer this week.
That's right.
This was a massive tier list. Even though there's a ton of stuff in what the heck is this, and there's a lot of stuff in haven't played.
That's right.
There's a ton of stuff we actually did rank. Okay, and we appreciate you for sticking around and let us know what your rankings are. What did we get wrong? Is Final Fantasy VII the best Final Fantasy game ever made? Because that's where it's sitting right now.
Of course not. It should be 9 up there. But, these guys are wrong, and it's okay. You can tell them in the comments. But
I think if you're looking at those like top 5 right there, it's looking good.
Yeah,
dude.
7, 9 Tactics, Rebirth, and 10.
Yeah.
So many people, and I know Lurok's going to be mad about 6 being outside of that top 5. I know for a fact. But it just played out that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it went down.
If anybody has played any of the haven't playeds and you think that we have to check those out, tell us in the comments, number 1. And then number 2, if there's something in the what the heck is this list that you have intimate knowledge about and also think we should check out, then let us know in the comments below. But I think we're done here, fellows.
Yeah.
And
what a fun
Slam,
episode.
Where can everybody find you?
Slam Zany, all the things. YouTube mostly. Doing just a lot of YouTube stuff. Got a new video dropping tomorrow, which I guess will probably be before this podcast drops. So I have a video dropping in the past. So go watch it. And then I'm also on Twitter, Slam Zany. If you want to, hit me up, chat about anything, let me know in the comments, hit me up on Twitter, wherever. Yeah, that's it for me.
Word. Tay, where can everybody find you?
YouTube at the gaming shelf. For whatever reason, I decided to go crazy this week. I put 3 videos out this week for some reason. I'm lucky if I get 1 out. So yeah, there's lots of stuff talking about the Tactics remaster, some upcoming JRPGs, and then that Alzara Kickstarter game getting canceled. I kind of dive into that.
Ooh, yeah.
Give some insight. So yeah, lots of good stuff to go check out on the channel.
Word. And you can find me at Retro Brandon over on YouTube and Nova Brand on Twitter. I'll just either reply in a snarky way or post something random in Twitter. So if that's interesting to you, go check me out and see what's going on over there. Otherwise, thank you for everybody who is still here. This is a wild episode. Let us know if you'd like to see more of this. I know Slam ran a poll earlier and people wanted to do rankings. So
Yep, that
we're
was
just
the
giving
one.
the people what they want. So thanks for being here, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
See you on the next one.